again to another episode of Business Players Live, where we bring these amazing players that are killing it in business and bring a lot of value to us, teach us a lot of things. Especially in today's episode, we've never had a person like Nuzayra. That's her name, and I'll tell you a little bit about her in a second. But first of all, like always, I want to say thank you everyone that is subscribing and liking and watching our episodes. We need more likes and more subscribers, guys. We're growing fast, but we want more. Okay, we want to get to 10,000 subscribers. So if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. We're always coming up with more content besides also Business Players Live. We got videos that I do myself, and we talk about how to gain credibility and grow your online presence and a lot of cool things. So of course, go down, subscribe, and like the video. Today we have an amazing speaker. Okay, she is Nuzayra Haque Shah. Let me know, my friend, if I pronounced that right. Was it right?
Yeah, you were almost right. It's hawk,
Okay.
like like
Hawk.
like the bird hawk, and then
Got it.
shot. Yeah.
Haque Shah. Okay, my friend. Awesome. Thank you for that. And she's done a lot of amazing things. I'm going to mention some of them, and she's going to tell us her story because there's a lot here that she's being able to accomplish in her career. Okay. So she's the founder. She's the founder, okay, of her own company, and she's an award-winning intellectual property attorney. Okay, she's based in Los Angeles, LA, and Nuzayra has counseled many international and US-based clients that they need a trademark, copyrights, branding strategies, IP portfolio management, trade secrets, GDPR, and many other things like US privacy law compliance, among more. And she'll tell us a little bit more later. She's a small business owner herself, but she loves to work with startups, creatives, and represent them, and also people that have to do a lot with blockchain, which is a big thing now, right? Cryptocurrencies, etc., NFTs, coaching, cannabis, technology, and design and entertainment. So she's working in many different industries like we have as well. We never wanted to niche in, and she's the same way. And that's great because she brings a better understanding about business in general to the table. And that's just something I wanted to add. It's not here. But she's done a lot of amazing things. Another thing is like she, of course, is very successful, but she was one of the first people, the first attorneys to be successfully obtain a federal trademark protection in the cannabis industry. So she's very knowledgeable about the cannabis industry. Anyone watching here, she can help you. She can help you if you're starting your cannabis business. That will be she will be the perfect fit for that. And she's being in big magazines and different places online, like the journals, the daily journals, top women attorneys for 2017, and she's being recognized as a super lawyers racing star in Southern California, which only 2.5% of the lawyers in Southern California get that acknowledgement, which is amazing. Congratulations, my friend. And she's super passionate about girls' education, climate change, and what she wanted to create, and she did, was a virtual law business based on a flat fee that would eliminate those barriers of the being so difficult to deal and know about these services, because most people, of course, they don't want to say or share some information like when it comes to pricing, etc. She'll tell us more about that. But she's done a lot of amazing things. But without further ado, we got her here. Nuzayra, welcome, my friend. Woo! Welcome into Best Business Players Live. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jose. When you were giving that introduction, I was like, wow.
I've done some stuff.
I've done some stuff. Yeah, but you made it sound awesome. So thank you so much for your kind introduction.
No, you're awesome, my friend. And I was like, wow, and I love bringing people. And also, I want you to tell us a little bit in a second about your nationality or where your family's from, because I'm an immigrant, right? And I think I don't know if you're an immigrant or your
I
family
am.
is immigrant,
Yeah.
but we wanna hear about that because that's very powerful. Mostly, most of the audience is not like they're immigrants, but we all can learn from the immigrant mentality that we come from, right? So it's amazing. But how are you doing today, my friend? How are things going for you?
I am doing great today. As we were discussing, I did some at-home Pilates in the morning, so I'm very, very proud of myself. I
Beautiful.
was, yeah, I was down with COVID for some time, and my health and fitness kind of went out the window. So today, this week is actually the first week when I've started working out again, and I'm getting back in the
Nice.
usual routine. So yeah, I'm feeling great. How are you doing, Jose?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. I think you're one of the first people the only person I believe that asked me like, "How are you doing?" in
No
this thing.
way.
She already won the contest. Okay, forget about
Thank
it. No,
you.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, she that's great. Thank you, my friend. I'm doing awesome, and I'm very I'm doing even better because we're here with you now. So absolutely. And hey, congratulations on restarting your workout sessions. That's very important. But I was gonna tell you, what do you do? What do you do besides? I mean, because you weren't working out, but you look really good. Like you look
Oh.
in shape. What are you doing? Well, so we all do it.
Oh my God. I think my sister would have such a big laugh if she heard you say that. She is always after my life saying that, you need to get more in routine. Like she's really good at working out and she's good
Okay.
about it as well. I, on the other hand, I would skip sometimes. But
Mhm.
I think honestly, what keeps me more or less healthy and happy and fit is I have, and if any of you have cats, then maybe you can relate. So I have a
No,
cat.
I don't. But okay.
So my cat, he has a very particular routine. He is more
Okay.
disciplined than any other human that I know, including myself. Like I'm not as disciplined as he is. So every morning when he wakes up, he has a set time. And at that time, no matter what is happening, you have to take him out for a walk. And
Oh, wow.
he's gonna go into the garden and he needs at least half an hour where he's just gonna run around, walk around, he's gonna chase birds or do whatever a cat wants to do. And that's a must
Wow.
every day. So I have a routine now because of my cat that I know, okay, at this set time, I have to take my cat out and I'm going to get my walk in no matter what. So, for my health and fitness, I'm very grateful to my cat who keeps me on track.
That's hilarious, and that's very very like like funny that your cat is so like like
Hmm.
outgoing because most cats are like very introverted or very
Yeah.
quiet. They don't do a lot of things. But that's great that your cat. So your cat is the one that was like
Hmm.
keeps you healthy and in shape. That's how. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's great.
Absolutely. He's
Yeah.
like some people say like he kind of behaves like a dog sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because he has to go out and he has to play, and so he makes me play with them. So
That's funny. That's funny. You're kind of like my wife. Her only workout. Well, sometimes she works out, but not like
yeah.
consistently. Is walking out. Our dog is a husky. Her name is Nala. She's like our daughter. We don't have any kids, but she's like the daughter we haven't had yet.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know what you mean. I feel like my cat is my baby. Yeah, I don't have any kids yet myself, and my cat is the exact same way for me.
Oh wow. Yeah. No. It's we all love our they're like our family, right? We
Exactly, they are. They are.
for them. Yeah, no, she's super smart. I trained my dog, and she does some tricks and everything. And
Oh,
no,
that's
that's
awesome.
that's awesome, my friend. Let's talk more about you. Let's talk about your story. Tell us about, like I was asking you about where you from and all those things. Tell us about your story from the beginning. How did everything started? And if you want to start from where you were a kid, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Tell us more about you.
Absolutely. Um, So as you mentioned earlier that you're an immigrant and so am I. So my family is originally from Bangladesh. I was born in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and
Wow.
then later on my family my father, actually, he migrated to the United States, and then I followed, my sister followed. But the fun thing is that even though my family had moved to the US, because I was born in Dhaka and I was studying in Dhaka, I was studying under the British system there. And
Okay.
I was a huge Spice Girls fan growing up. And if any of you are thinking, why is this piece of information relevant? It's relevant because when I was a kid, I was such a big fan that I thought, okay, when I grow up, so every year I wanted to be something new. Like and I didn't want to be a lawyer from like when I was a child. That was not in my headspace at all. I wanted to be
Okay.
a pop star. So for a long time, I wanted to be like the Spice Girls. Like I was a huge fan. Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears. Like those were the stars when I was a kid and I was growing up. So I thought that okay, when I grow up, when I'm grown up enough where I can travel by myself, I want to go to England because that's where the Spice Girls are from. And I want to become a pop star. I don't know why I thought I was going to go to England and become a pop star. So that didn't happen. Clearly, I'm not a pop star now. But what did
Okay.
happen was because I wanted to go to England, that kind of stuck in my head. And I did end up going to England to do my studies. So my first law degree is actually from England. So I did my LLB there, which is the bachelor's of laws. I did my bar there in England and Wales. I'm a barrister in England. And then as I was doing this, my father told me that, you have to make up your mind as to where you want to be. Because if you're country hopping, you're never going to really be successful. You have to pick where you want to have your base. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, you're right. And so while I was studying in England, every summer vacation, I would come back to Los Angeles to be with
Mhm.
my family. And so that last holiday I took, I came to LA and I was thinking, where should I be? I had an interview for a job in London, and I thought, okay, now I really have to make up my mind. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, it was one of the big reasons was the weather.
Oh, wow.
Like yeah, it was something like that. It was the weather which played a huge part when I was deciding, okay, where do I really want to be long term? And I decided that, okay, I want to be in LA because the weather is amazing. Plus, my family's here. I'm going to be close to my family. And so in 2010, that's the year when I permanently moved to Los Angeles. So even though I was coming here and going back and forth, I was kind of confused where my base would be. In 2010, I came back to LA. I took not a year. Yeah, I took 1 year off to figure out what I wanted to do with my life because all of a sudden I told my father that I don't want to be a lawyer anymore because I was studying law for so long. I was studying law from like 11th grade and then
Yeah.
4 years, of your bachelor's. And then again, I did the bar, which was 2 years in England. And so it was a long time. My entire teenage life, I was just studying law. So I was like, I don't want to be a lawyer. And my father looked at me. He was like, what is going on with you? Okay, fine, go try. What do you want to do? So for 1 year, I thought I was going to be a publicist, and I have no idea why I chose that. So I wanted to be in PR, and thank God I did give it a shot because I think within 3 months or even less than that of working in PR, I realized that I am not meant for this. I have to go back to law because I really missed practicing law or even studying law. So then
Mhm.
I applied for law school here. I went to USC. I got a really nice scholarship to USC. I did my
All
master's
right.
in law from USC, and I specialized in intellectual property. And then I sat for the California bar, and then that's it. And the rest is history. I started working. I started off my career actually as a litigator. I used to go to court every day. I was in trials. I did all of that. And then it just so happened that I'm sure a lot of you have heard with lawyers, we reach a point of burnout. The money is great when you're
Mhm.
working as a corporate attorney, which I was. I was working in downtown LA and the money was great and everything, but the hours were insane. And the kind of demand there is on your time and on your energy, it's next level.
I'm sure.
And yeah, I just didn't want to do that anymore. I mean, I was reaching a point very early on. I felt like, oh my God, I'm like 20 something and I already want to retire. That's not normal. That's not normal. So then I knew like I had to have a lifestyle change. So that's what happened in 2018. I got married, and it just so
Oh,
happened, yeah. And my husband at the time was not in the US, he was in Pakistan. So I was doing a lot of back and forth. And that's when the idea came to me that I don't think I can have a job as a corporate attorney working for someone else if I also wanted to have the freedom of location and freedom of working on projects that I wanted to. And
yeah.
so I left the corporate world, and after I got married for 1 year, I was just living the good homemaker life. You know, I was a wife, I was traveling, I was enjoying myself, and I was
Nice.
freelancing. I hadn't really officially started my own law practice, but I was
Mhm.
working for another law firm that was okay with me being anywhere in the world as long as the work was getting done.
Okay.
And yeah, and I did that. And then it was January 2020, right before the pandemic went mainstream, that I officially started my law practice. And I didn't know that the pandemic was going to be so big, but I
Hmm.
started my law practice on a virtual model from day one
Hmm.
because I wanted to be more intentional about how I was using all of the funds that I had saved in order to start my business. And I also wanted that freedom of location and time. And I wanted to have a paperless practice because I didn't want piles and piles of paper everywhere. So that was the decision. So I started a virtual practice, completely cloud based and very tech reliant. And here we are 2 years later.
So COVID was actually good for you then when you started, right?
Yes, in a way, because I didn't have to adapt to
Mhm.
COVID. A lot of traditional law firms and law offices, they had to adapt because they were already in, they had an office space, and the whole system is that you go into work, you go to court, and everything is very in person.
Yeah.
You meet your clients in
Yeah.
person. And so they had to do a major shift, and it took a lot of lawyers a little bit of time. For me, I didn't have to make that shift because that was just going to be my business model anyway from the
Anyway.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, that's great. And yeah, I was gonna say like you said paperless. I'm sure like some lawyers right now, they're like, man, I can't do this internet thing. Like
hmm,
I need my stuff. I want to meet in person and talk to my customers, to my
exactly.
clients. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's not the same anymore, right? Like people are
it's
now
not.
looking for, hey, let's do a Zoom. Yeah, let's do this. And it's
Hmm,
different. Or they're traveling, right? Like a lot of people, like they would travel all the time.
hmm,
Now they are more used to those things. So the lawyers, the law practices, the law firms have to adapt to
hmm.
the new internet world that just developed because of COVID. And like nobody
Yeah,
knew about Zoom, nobody knew about
no,
Google Meet, none of that stuff. Like nobody care about any of those things. Now they have to because they want to survive,
yeah.
right? They have to be internet based, pretty much.
Exactly, exactly. All of these tools that were there, such as Zoom and Google Meet, a lot of
Yeah.
lawyers didn't use it because, even when I was working as a corporate attorney, there was no need to use it. Our clients would come into the office, they would want to, sit across the table from their attorneys and, discuss branding strategies. They would bring in their prototypes. So that was kind of the norm. But now I'm happy to say that not only from the very beginning did I embrace all of those technological tools, but what's interesting is the kind of clients I work with now.
Hmm.
My clients, because they range from different industries now, a lot of them are very, very digital themselves. Like they're traveling the world and they want to talk to me. They're not going to say, one of my clients, she was in Thailand, but we had to wrap up her trademark application and we had to get on a call. So there was no, worries or tension about like, oh, do I have to call her at this time and will she be awake? None of that. You send Calendly, they book a time that's good for them, and that's it. You're on a Zoom call and you wrap up whatever needs to wrap up. You can send
Yeah.
documents while you're on the call. It's
Right.
just a lot more efficient, and I
Uh,
think our clients like that as well, that
mhm.
there's no like major obstacles or hurdles in getting the work done. Everything's
Right.
efficient.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like you go driving somewhere, whatever it is, you spend 30 minutes drive, 1 hour drive, the traffic, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Now that's gone, right?
It's
Or
gone.
you gotta pay an Uber, a taxi, cab, whatever it is, that's gone. Like people just, hey, yeah, let's do a Zoom call. And I was gonna say about this book. So in this book, I recommend this to everyone here in this, like everyone watching this. That book changed my business forever. And they really talk about, there's a chapter there in that book that they talk about the adaptability,
Mhm.
the need of being adaptable as a business, because a lot of these lawyers, I'm sure that you see, they're struggling, or they still don't want
Mhm.
to, they want to go against these things, or be, go in the opposite direction, instead of like using this as a tool. They're
Mhm.
probably fighting it, right? So it's like
Yeah,
with Netflix, right? Blockbuster, they're like, oh,
exactly.
that's never gonna work. I'm sure. Oh man, that's never gonna work. Like, you go and do your thing, yeah. And they were like selling it for like five billion or 5 million, I don't know, 50 million,
Mhm.
something like that. And now net, like, there's one Blockbuster in the world, and it's like a museum now. There's
I
where
know.
before, I don't know if in Bangladesh, or I'm sure in Los Angeles it was super
Yeah, yeah.
Blockbuster. In Venezuela, we had blockbusters in every city as well. So it was a big thing, like blockbuster in the world. And now
Mhm.
there's only one blockbuster. So that's what
Crazy.
happens, and that's why I wanted to mention this book, because it really talks about that a little bit. Like, you gotta adapt to the new times, the
Mhm.
new technology that comes up and everything. Yeah, no, I love
Absolutely.
your story, my friend. That's awesome. And so, how old were you when you went to England to study? And were you in
Yeah.
Bangladesh when you went to England?
No, no. So
No.
when I went to England, by that time, I had I had technically already moved to the US. So I was in my mid-teens, I would say, when I went to England, and I was there up until my early. So I think when I came back to the US, I was probably 21, 22 when I came back to the
Okay.
US. So yeah, about like, yeah, from mid-teens to around that time.
So you were in Bangladesh at what age, and then you first came here, and then you went to England? Is that how it happened, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was when I was and I know this is like so confusing. So in Bangladesh,
No, it's fine.
so a little bit of history lesson, then it's going to be, put into context. So Bangladesh, or parts of South Asia, they were part of the British colonies many,
Okay.
many years ago. So when you go to South Asia, you'll see there's a very heavy like British influence, even
Mhm.
especially in education. So a
Got it.
lot of the students will study under the British system. Our grading is done like that. Like we have A levels and O levels and things like that. So a lot of people will finish like up until their 10th, 11th grade and then go to England to finish their higher education. So
Okay.
that's like very routine. So even when I was in Dhaka as a kid, I I was already studying under that system. So I
Mhm.
was in Dhaka for I think around like maybe my 10th, 11th, yeah, like 10th, 11th grade, I finished there. And around that same time, I moved to the US. And I was in the US for about a year. I took up a job. That was my first real job. As
Uh-huh.
a teenager, I was a cashier at the children's place. I was doing that for a year and I saved up money. I
Hmm.
can't believe, my God, like back then you could actually save money from a cashier's job and that would count.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
went to England after I saved, I think maybe 2,000 or $3,000. I was super proud of myself, like, oh, I saved that money and I'm gonna go to England. And yeah, that's how it happened.
Nice, nice, nice. And Dhaka, when you say Dhaka, you mean the Dhaka here, or the Dhaka? Is there a Dhaka
In
in?
Bangladesh, yeah. So Dhaka is the capital of Bangladesh.
Got it, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I thought for whatever reason, I know that you said that at the beginning, but for whatever reason, right now I thought it was Dhaka. You know, there's Dhaka, the thing where people come to the U.S. to study. You've heard of that, right?
Is it
Have
an
you heard of that?
education? No, is it an education
No.
program?
It's like a program, and you're in
Okay,
like
okay, okay. Oh,
somewhere
yes,
else.
yes, the Dreamers. My God, why was I drawing a blank? The
Yeah,
Dreamers. Yes, yes.
exactly.
Oh,
That's what
okay,
they
okay. Oh,
That's
no,
what
no,
they
no.
call it, dreamers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I was in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Yeah.
got it. Okay, great. No, that's great, my friend. And tell us. So you're an attorney. You've been super successful in everything. Congratulations. And
Thank you.
you know, it's beautiful to see like people like, you know, from, and you've done a lot of, you've been everywhere in the world, which I
Yeah,
think that's really awesome because you're open-minded. I think it's important
yeah,
to travel the world, you know, meet people from other cultures. I think that helps a lot to understand people better, because it looks
absolutely.
to me that you're a very cool person, and it also like you are very extroverted, but it's because you know the world and you've met other different
Yeah.
people, and then you're like, oh yeah, you know, this is their culture.
Hmm.
You're very respectful about everybody's you know, lives and
Yeah.
stuff, because I mean, and I know because I've gone. I mean, I'm not like I haven't traveled from. I never been to Europe like you have, but or Asia. Like you've been almost everywhere. You just got
Yeah,
to go to Australia, and you're gonna
I
have all.
know. I know.
That's
I think I have to go to Australia. I haven't been there yet. And South America, I haven't been. Africa, I haven't been. So those continents I still need
yeah.
to do. But yeah, you're right. I did hop around quite a bit.
Oh no, but that's great. But am I right? Like you think different because you've seen all these cultures, and you're like very
Yeah.
respectful about everybody's beliefs, or you know, like how they think, because we're all different all around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was very, very helpful for me growing up, that I was exposed, and thanks to my parents, that I was exposed to different countries, different cultures, different types of people. And
Mm.
to me, that has always been very normal, that you're going to meet people who don't look like you, who don't have the
Yeah.
same language, they don't have the same life experiences, but their stories matter, their culture matters, and you have to be respectful of it. So
Oh,
that was, yeah, that's kind of, to me, that was very normal. I
yeah.
think
Hmm.
because of all of the hopping around I did, that I was always in a new country or in a new city. Even when I was in England, I was city hopping there too, because I was kind of nomadic. I was a digital nomad before I think digital nomad was even a term. But now when I
Yeah,
think about it,
me too.
that's what I was. Yeah. So even though my school was in Newcastle, England, I stayed in Liverpool for some time. I
Mm.
would go to London every now and then, and
Right.
whenever we had a long weekend, we would take the train. Me and my friends would go over to Scotland. So
Nice.
it was always about going to new places, exploring
Mhm.
new cultures, learning about new history, and seeing people from different backgrounds up close and personal, and having that interaction with them. So you
Got
just,
it.
you learn so much. And I have to say that being in Los Angeles as well, that's one
Mhm.
thing that we are exposed to a lot. LA, I feel, is such an amazing city when it comes to diversity. We have
Yeah.
people from everywhere in the world. Like
Uh-huh.
it's so awesome. So yeah, I love the fact that, even now I live in a city where I get to experience different cultures and eat amazing food from all those different cultures.
Yeah, you're right. It's perfect. It's a perfect city for you because you know different cultures,
Yeah.
and you know. Oh yeah, it's you know that's really awesome. You're right. And when I was studying English in San Diego, that's where I learned English like 10 years ago. It was very cool too that there were so many cultures like Filipino,
Yeah,
you know, Latin people, a lot of
exactly.
Latin people, of course, Japanese, a lot of Japanese people in
Uh-huh.
sure in LA as well.
Yeah, we have
Oh,
little
that's
Tokyo here, which is
Oh
great.
yeah. No, it's great. Yeah. No, I love that, my friend. And but tell us like why do you Well, so first, why intellectual property? Why did you decide to
Mhm.
go to school to learn that? And then what was the first industry that you worked on? Because I know you've done
Right.
stuff with NFTs and
Yeah.
cryptocurrency people and all these people, but like why
Why
intellectual?
IP?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that question. So when I was in law school, even getting into law school, believe me, it was a similar story like the Spice Girls thing. I wanted to be a lawyer because I saw, the practice and all those shows, and I was debating in school. So I thought, oh my God, how cool would it be if I
Mhm.
could do this for a living? And so I went to law school to actually become a criminal lawyer. That's because that's what you see on TV. So I'm in law school, and I think pretty much by my year two, I figured out that no, criminal law is not for me. I don't think I'm going to enjoy practicing it as much as I loved learning it. And all of the theory part of it, I didn't really enjoy, honestly, going to criminal court and experiencing all of that. It was, yeah, it was not my cup of tea. But what I did enjoy a lot, and I saw that I was getting naturally drawn to it, was inventions, creations, innovations, technology, art, dancing. So I was very naturally drawn to the world of creativity.
Yeah.
And when I was in law school, I did some, I took some courses that had to do with creations, and I learned that intellectual property is that one area of law where you are dealing specifically with innovation and technology and all of the arts and entertainment and everything. So for me, that was a very like natural inclination. And when I took the courses, I saw that I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning about intellectual property. I enjoyed learning about international trade, how trade happens all around the world, and how when you have intellectual property in a specific country, how that can actually empower that country, build its economic position in the global marketplace, and help a country come out from poverty all the way to becoming a middle income country. And so I
Mm.
learned all of that in law school, so I understood the power of owning your creations. And
Uh-huh.
so when I graduated from law school, my first job was as a litigator, and it was at an IP litigation firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it, I enjoyed it. And then from there, I went on to become in house counsel. So I would say that was my first like big stint where my employer, who was my boss, he was not a lawyer. So I was working in house, which means I was the only lawyer there. And
Okay.
he was an entrepreneur. It was three college friends that came together and they built a design
Oh wow.
company. Yeah, it's amazing. They were also on Shark Tank, which is super fun.
No way,
So
really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
they were on Shark Tank. They were the Sun Stashes maker, and so I worked with them. And when I was working there, you get to see the entire process so up close because we had one big room where the design team would sit and I would sit right next to them. So as they were designing, as they were creating all of those designs,
That's
I could
awesome.
see them and I was working on them. And so I fell in love with
Mm-hmm.
intellectual property. And so I kind of stuck with that area. And now when I have my own practice, I'm not a litigator anymore. I've temporarily stopped going to court and taking on cases. I do transactional work now. I say like I'm on the happy side of things. I work with people when they are building something, and it's amazing just to be able to get firsthand access to
Mm-hmm.
people, to creators who are coming to you with such phenomenal ideas. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I cannot even put into words the kind of work that my clients do. There's someone who is building a robot cleaning machine that's going to change how people think about cleaning devices. It's going to help people who are disabled, people who cannot, you know, take control of their own cleaning. That device is going to help them do that because it's going to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
There are other clients who are building amazing things in blockchain technology that's going to help education, that's going to take education to for young girls in remote areas of different parts of the world where they couldn't access normal education before. So these are amazing creators that, you know, come to me with their ideas, and I get to take that idea and actually work with them from that conception stage all the way to the stage where they'll launch their idea, and I see them being successful, getting that recognition. It's a
Nice.
different kind of a feeling, you know. Yes, I love intellectual property, but I also just love seeing what amazing work my clients do and how it actually impacts the world on a greater scale.
Beautiful. Wow. It seems like you're really, really passionate about it, my friend.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm happy that, you know, some people say like pursue your passion. You found passion into this. You didn't really know how it was gonna
Yeah,
go. You're like, oh my God, I love this, and you're very passionate about it. And you know, we're developing always things here in this company. You and I, we gotta talk about some of those things because
absolutely.
yeah, because we are developing many things right now that are really crazy too.
That's
So
amazing.
I would love to, yeah, no, we gotta really chat about that. No, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. And then, what was the first one? The first time that you got a client? What was it about? Was it cannabis, or because you know in the or
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was?
that's a good question. So my last job as a corporate attorney working for someone else was in a cannabis law firm. So they specialized in cannabis, and I used to handle their brand and content protection. So mainly the brand protection, because back then, this is pre 2018, you couldn't really talk about cannabis online. Instagram and Facebook would ban your pages. So we were doing a lot of brand protection work. But when I
Mhm,
started my own practice,
mhm.
my you can say actually, yes, so my first client was a cannabis tech company, and
Wow.
at the same time my other client, so it's hard to say which is the first one because they both came around the same time and they came from referrals. But
Uh-huh.
there was one cannabis tech, and the other one, due to client confidentiality reason, I can't disclose the name, but I'm very happy to say that
Okay.
it was a horror film that a lot of people know about. It's one of the most gruesome horror film trilogies in Hollywood, and they were based outside the US. So
Okay.
I was very fortunate that through a referral, they approached me to take care of all of their intellectual property portfolio
Mhm.
that's in the US.
Nice. Nice. Wow. And how do you feel that first? How do you feel in that first project? Like, were you scared?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I was very
Because it's
scared
very
because
delicate. Like you're
yeah.
helping people with their. You're like, I mean, I not like praying because you're a professional. But you're like, oh my God, I hope everything goes well with this, all this paperwork and all these things I'm doing for them because it's
Oh,
very delicate, right?
absolutely.
Especially cannabis.
Oh, absolutely. And also just communicating, you know, what I can do, what I cannot do. So, when I was an associate at the cannabis boutique law firm, we had different departments that would handle different parts of a client's matter, right? So if a cannabis client came through the door and said, "I want to set up a cannabis brand," I would take care of the brand part. There would be another corporate attorney that would take care of setting up the entire company. So there were many, many different divisions. There would be other attorneys that would handle their regulations side, getting licenses and permits done. So when the first cannabis tech client came to me and said, "Oh, you know, we want to launch this," so I had to also let them know that, okay, unlike a regular law firm, I'm not going to be able to help you, you know, in all of these areas because my
Mhm.
expertise is for a limited thing. So this is what I'm going to help you with. And then I had to find other attorneys that could help them with the other parts of the business. But
Yeah.
yeah, to answer that question, I was scared, and it's not. I think it's not even because that, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing, but this was the first time that I was doing something, and there would be no boss, right? There would be no
Yeah.
supervising attorney. You can't go to
Mhm.
someone with a problem. You kind of have to figure out and just do it on your own. And I was hoping and praying that I do an excellent job. So you know, you start like second guessing yourself. Even after I've prepared a contract, I was like reading it multiple times to make sure that, this is good. There are no errors. So yeah, I went through all of that during the first few months of my business.
Okay, but that was in your business already, not like when you were working
Yeah.
for the other firm. Okay, got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you
When
already
I
had a lot of experience then, right?
Oh yeah, my very first IP client, I would say, were from the entertainment space. So my first job as a litigator, that was at a law firm, a boutique law firm that exclusively handled entertainment related litigation. So very copyright heavy. Then my second one was for a design house. The one after that was a litigation firm, and we were doing like brand disputes. So
Oh,
yeah, so a lot, I mean, a lot of different types of clients, but I would say my first real client would be an entertainment company.
got it. Okay. And you just said brand disputes. When you're saying that, a lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this or I'm gonna say this, and it's of course owned by someone else or another company. And people, usually they think like, oh, nothing's gonna happen if I do that, because
Yeah.
how are they gonna find out or whatever. So tell us a little bit about that, because I think it's important that people really understand how those type of things work and what they shouldn't do. And because of course some people don't take these things seriously, right?
Yeah.
But it's a legal matter, right?
Yeah, it's a legal matter, and it's a very serious legal matter. You can be on the hook for a lot of money and get sued for
Mhm.
trademark violation. And I know that a lot of the times when someone has an idea, they are so excited. They want to launch a brand, they want to, make money, and they want to do all of that. But what you often want to do is just take a few steps back and really understand what you're getting into. So as far as brands are concerned, now more or less, if you have a business, you have an online presence. I
Mhm.
think those days are gone where there are businesses that don't have online presence. I mean, maybe there are still brands like that, but they're not brands that we know of. And probably if you knock off a brand that maybe has like one location in a small city somewhere in America, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you're right. Maybe they won't find out. But
yeah,
for most businesses, that's not the case. You have an online presence, and if you're using a brand name
yeah.
that already belongs to someone else, and especially if that other person has gone through the trouble and made the investment and actually got a trademark registration for it, they
Mhm.
have a lot of rights
Mhm.
that you don't want to mess with. And the rights are very expensive types of rights if they want to enforce it. So one aspect is correct, that if they don't find out, I'm not going to get in trouble. So with intellectual property, it's a bit different than other areas of law. With IP, if you have IP registration, so say you have trademarks and copyrights and patents, it's up to you as the owner to enforce it. If
Mm.
you don't enforce it, then anyone can really continue doing whatever they want to do with your brand name, and that's totally fine. But if you do enforce it, then you can put that person in some serious trouble. A few
Mm.
examples are, you can take someone's website down, Instagram page, Facebook page, LinkedIn, everywhere their brand is being used. You can take those pages down. You can you
By
can
law.
basically, by law, it's the law, because you cannot be using someone else's name commercially, because you're piggybacking off of their goodwill, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to sell products and services because that brand probably does really well, and now you're using it. So, and if you're
Mhm.
using it without their permission, so there's no licensing deal, there's nothing, you're just using it, yeah, you can get shut down. If you have an e-commerce store, and that
Yeah.
used to happen when I was in house design counsel, that was an
Mhm.
unfortunate part of my work, but it was work that needed to be done. So if we saw that there were other sellers online, say on eBay, back then eBay was really big, so eBay and other platforms, and they were selling our designs, or they were using our company, our brand's name, and selling their products. we would obviously send them a cease and desist notice to let them know, hey, you can't do it. And we would give them a time frame in which they had to respond and take down those listings. If they didn't comply, our next step would be to contact eBay. And what we would do is take down that entire e-commerce store that was on eBay. And then we would go on to, GoDaddy or Google, wherever their website is being hosted, take those websites down. So if you think about it, in real life, that is a huge blow to your small business if your online presence is gone. And then on top of that, you can also sue them. So you can drag someone to court, and intellectual property litigation is one of the most expensive types of litigation there is. You are going to be on the hook for 6 figures and above for trademark copyright violation. And if you are importing, say if you're importing finished products from somewhere else, you can let the US Customs and Border Protection know, and they can basically blacklist your brand. So if any products are coming in for your brand, they're going to seize it and sometimes even destroy it if you tell them like, oh, these designs or these products are counterfeit as well. So there are very serious implications for just willy-nilly using someone's brand name and not getting their permission before you use it.
Right. I have this friend, is hilarious, Nuzayra, because I have this friend, he's a $10 million guy a year now. But when he started, and he's also an immigrant, his name is Josh Pather, he's a friend of mine, and he always tells his story that he owned like a website where he sold Jordan shoes and stuff like that, of course, without he's not like a dealer or anything, right? So he was doing that, and he got a letter or an email or something like that from Nike, and for a huge fee. I don't remember what it was, but and they of course took everything down and all that stuff, and like, this is whatever revenue you made in all this time, it's something like that. It was a big thing. And that was like his first endeavor or something like that, his first venture. And he didn't, he just didn't know, and he just did it, and it didn't go well for him in that.
That happens. There is actually higher penalty for intentional infringement. So if you are doing it and you don't know, most of the time brands and even law firms, they'll just let you know that, okay, because you didn't know, now now stop it. But if you got notice and you still don't stop and you continue, the penalties are really, really high. Like for copyright infringement, oh my God, it's very high. For copyright infringement, your penalties can go up to $150,000 per infringement. So per infringement is very, very vague, and it can be that as for every day that, say you have a design, say you have Jordans up on your website, okay, it's exact design, and Nike sent you a notice and you don't listen, and you're like, whatever, I'm gonna have this up on my website, I'm gonna sell it. So $150,000 could literally be $150,000 every day that you had the shoe up after you received the notice. So it can get very expensive.
Wow, that's amazing. I it's great, and I'm asking all these questions because we've never had someone like you that knew all of this stuff. But also, people are very, especially you're starting a business and you're like, I'm gonna sell Gucci, whatever, or I'm gonna sell this thing, or I'm gonna do this, or even they can get like a Chinese vendor somewhere and get with the logo. They don't care, right? Because they're making their money.
Exactly.
They will sell you whatever it is, and nobody asks any questions. But when you do it and you start selling it, you can get in trouble. My friend, let's talk now about your business. Tell us more about your business. How can we hire you? What type of people do you prefer to work with, or you can help? Tell us more about you and your business, and in that aspect, how can you help everyone?
Sure, absolutely. So my client base right now, and I'll say these are usually the types of businesses that work with me. They will usually have some kind of online presence. So you would be a creator, an entrepreneur, a business owner. So you can be a coach, course creator. You could have a service-based business, a product-based business. You could be in the Web3, NFT, crypto space. As long as you have a business, you would most likely have a brand if you are running your own business. If you are doing MLM work, for example, multi-level marketing, usually then you're working for someone else's business. You don't need the kind of services that I offer. But if you are starting your own business or you have your own business, you want to think about your brand. You want to think about the content that you're creating, especially if you are creating online courses, ebooks, all of those materials that you sell or you give to your students. So all of that, contracts, setting up your business, like all of that part I can help with. And my clients are, as I mentioned, they're pretty much from many different types of industries, but they have one thing in common, which is they want to establish a brand. They don't want to be generic. They don't want to operate under someone else's brand. They want to create their own brand. So that's what I work with. And I also, not only as an attorney, so this is something I like to do with my clients, is I not only work with them as an attorney, where I'm only giving them legal advice and only working on legal documents, but we have something called business growth sessions that are part of one of my trademark packages. And they're basically like really these like fun business strategy sessions. So we combine legal and business strategy and we discuss like, okay, you have a brand and you've developed all of these assets. How can we scale this? How can we grow this? And let's explore more revenue generating opportunities. So those are the kind of things I work with my clients. And how to get in touch with me? Well, I'm online. I have an online presence, as we were talking about having an online presence. So if you want to work with me or you want to learn more about my services, you can always contact me on any of our online platforms on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or you can go to our website, which is www.nhlegal.net, and you can send us a message. And just to let everyone know, I don't do hourly billing. I bill not like conventional law firms. So if you come and you work with me and my firm as a client, everything is flat fee. It can be subscription based. So you know exactly what your investment is and what you're getting at the end of it. There is no surprise invoices, no surprise bills at the end of the month. I don't like it. As an attorney, I used to bill so many hours. I think I never want to do that again if I can. So yeah, our clients really like it as well because my phone fell, but our clients really like it as well because it gives them a sense of certainty. They know what their legal bills are. So that's how I work.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great, way of putting your fees and stuff. That's a great way, my friend. And, in my case, we do web design and marketing and all those things. And I wanted to do the same. And if you go to our website, we have a calculator and it has a range now because of some people sometimes would want something extra and then they would think it was the same. But I always wanted to show people this is what it is. If you come to us, this is what it is. Not like we're gonna come up with some crazy fees, hidden fees, whatever. No, like I want people to really know. And they, of course, I believe in our case, I believe that increases credibility because people they're like, oh, I know. They're very open and honest about how much they charge instead of like, oh yeah, now this is gonna take 5 hours, but if it takes longer, we're gonna charge you this much more money. Yeah,
I don't like that either. It's too I think that becomes kind of restrictive for small business owners. Like if you are a major corporation and you have a big budget, and you're allocating that budget to a project, then it's different. Then you can give them a rough estimate like that. But for most of my clients, they're either bootstrapping or they're raising funding from investors. So they have to be answerable to investors as well. And so when I give them a set amount and just like you provide to your clients, there's clarity and they just feel, I think, a lot more relaxed and comfortable. They're like, okay, there's no surprise billing here. One of the things my clients really appreciate is that we love the fact that every time we email you or we get on a call with you, you're not going to send us a bill for that time. I'm like, yeah, because it's all built in. So it's I think I appreciate that. So I love offering my clients that as well. Oh, I can't hear you for some reason, Jose. Let's see what happened.
Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me
Yes.
now? Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying was that you and I were gonna do business together, my friend, because we're coming up with good
Yes.
stuff. But also, I think we're very related in everything we do.
Mhm.
And my friend, we're about to finish here. I got a few more questions that are, like the really
Sure.
important questions that everyone wants to hear about,
Sure.
a successful person like you, and some tips and stuff to help our audience to improve their companies and everything.
Yeah.
But before that, I want to say thank you to you. God bless you, my friend, for being here. And everyone, please say thank you, uh, Nuzayra, on the chat, on the comments, or on the description. Please say
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much.
because yes, because she's a very important person, and she's here sharing with us her knowledge and her time. And of course, I'm hoping that a lot of you guys that are coming up with great ideas and you need to trademark it and everything, you're gonna go for her, because she's, you just met her. She's really awesome, and
Thank you.
she's gonna help you and guide you, and no hidden fees, no more
Yeah.
weird,
That.
hours or whatever, extra hours, or yeah, none of that stuff. Okay, so she's really awesome. So please, if you need any of this thing, go for her. It's a sure shot to that you're getting something that is gonna work for you. Okay, so my
Thank
friend,
you.
let's help our people here. I got two more questions for
Sure.
you. The first
Sure.
one is, what are the best three books that you would recommend to brand new business owners and entrepreneurs that are starting their companies, that has helped you? Three books.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, three books. Let's see. So I'm gonna name, there's many good books, but I'm gonna name the three books that honestly changed the way I think about business, and it's
Mhm.
been very helpful for me.
Got
So
it.
one is Chillpreneur by Denise Duffield Thomas. I love this book because she really talks about how you can create your business in accordance with how you want to live your life. Like there's no formula to how you should run your business, and that's what chillpreneur is. So that is one.
Chill.
Yeah, chillpreneur, like entrepreneur, but
Oh, I
chillpreneur.
love it. Chillpreneur.
Yeah,
Oh my God. I never heard
yeah.
about it.
it's it's a
Wow.
really good, it's a very like lighthearted funny book, but it's
Mhm.
about entrepreneurship. So that is one I really like. I'm actually pulling up my Audible now, because
Mhm.
all my books are here, so I listen to Audible.
Okay. Yeah.
And okay, the other book, oh my God, there's so many, but okay, this one is really good. It's Essentialism by Greg McKeown.
Essentialism.
Yes, Essentialism by Greg McKeown. This one is amazing because it teaches you, or it shows you the power of prioritizing what really matters versus what is just a time filler. That
Mhm.
you can basically claim back so much of your time and energy when you
Yeah.
just think, is this essential or not? If the answer is not a yes, then it doesn't need to be on your list. So that's a really good one. And
Nice.
another book I'll say is Believe It by Jamie Kern Lima. She is the founder of It Cosmetics. And, there are so many other books that I love, but three books. So that would be one. Jamie Kern Lima's Believe It. And this one is a phenomenal story because Jamie Kern Lima, when she started is It Cosmetics, the amount of rejections that she faced when people just laughed in her
Yeah.
face about her product,
Wow.
and she kept at it, and now she's, well, a billionaire. So
Yeah.
this is this is a book that you have to listen. Like half the book is honestly about her rejections and rejections for years after years. So I would say, these three books are amazing.
Wow. I love that these books that you're giving us, because I haven't heard of any of them, which is great. Yeah, because it's like, yeah, we all, for example, like I can, if somebody asked me, I would say Rich Dad Poor Dad, but everyone knows those books. So it's great that you're coming up with different books that we've never heard of, most of us, I'm
Yeah.
sure, because I read a lot, and if I haven't, heard of these books, I'm sure a lot of people haven't, and
Yeah.
it's great. And I love the second one because it's something that most people suffer from, is
Hmm.
lack of time management, which is in the end is
Yeah.
how to prioritize your time, because there's really not such thing as time management in fact.
No, there
It's
isn't.
BS. It's just you gotta like concentrate in what works, and it's gonna get you the best results, and that's
Hmm.
because you only have 24 hours. And if you're trying to be complacent with
Exactly.
everyone and all those things, you're wasting your time for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It really did change the way I think about meetings and like even like simple shifts. Like there's a part in the book which says, can your meetings actually be emails? Or
Mhm.
if they cannot be
Wow.
emails, if they are instructions that you have to give to your team, instead of a meeting, can you actually record yourself and
Mhm.
send that to your team? So instead of sitting in a meeting for 1 hour, you could probably finish that recording within 15 minutes
Yeah.
and you get back 45 minutes of your life.
Got it. Oh wow. I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta buy that book then. I gotta buy that book.
Yeah. It's
That's great.
awesome.
Everything time management, or time creation, time whatever,
Mhm.
it's super important for us as entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for that, my friend. I'm gonna probably get the three books.
Yeah.
They all sound amazing. They all sound amazing. Yes. Now, the
Yeah.
last question for you, my friend, is similar to the other one, but it's three things or three tips that you see that most entrepreneurs struggle with, that you can give them the like three solutions for those three problems, or something like that. Three things that are very important, and maybe you struggle with, or you see all
Mhm.
these inventors and these people like new businesses struggling with, because you work with new business as well.
Yeah.
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 So
I
what
love
would
that.
those three things
I love that
be?
question. Um, so as you said, I work with a lot of creators, inventors. I work with businesses who are already successful. They're coming out with new products. And I also work with first-time business owners. So one thing I'll say, if you are a first-time business owner, start off, even when you're starting your own business, make sure, and this is a very practical tip, that you have another source of income coming through.
I
And
like
you could be freelancing, or you could probably have a part-time job. Whatever it is, have another source of income. The reason is it's a psychological battle when you're starting a business, and a lot of business owners will give up within their first year when they don't see that kind of success. They'll
Mhm.
start comparing their business to, say, their job that they had as an employee, and it's not going to add up. Like, I can tell you for a fact that as a CEO of my company, I am now paying myself a lot less because I want to keep more in my company's operating account than
Yeah.
I used to earn as a salary when I was a corporate attorney. And that shift, when that happens, it's very difficult because you're worrying about things like, oh, can I pay rent the next month? Where am I going to buy, if I'm going to be able to buy food, and do I have enough savings that will last me for more than 3 months?
Yeah.
So that you don't have to go through that. At least the first, I would say, 6 months of your business, just have some kind of revenue coming through. So it's a psychological cushion for you. So you know that, okay, I have enough that I can, sustain for this amount of months. So now let me forget about the pressure, forget about all of those things that will make you anxious and will make you panic. And then you'll have a clear mind to focus on your business and think of creative strategies. You're not going to be working from a place of panic and
Mhm.
desperation and make mistakes, but you're going to be working from a place of power, that I have what I need, I have my basics met.
Yeah.
Now let's go create something amazing. So
Right.
so that's one. You know, when the bills are showing up, like trust me, the brain will switch off. So that is one practical tip that I want to give to first-time business owners. The
Mhm.
second one is this is a mix of business and legal advice. Um,
Okay.
have contracts. This is so important. It can save your relationships. It can save your business. Even when you are starting off, even when you're hiring your first VA, your first team member, and you think, I mean, what do I need a contract for? I haven't even made $1 in my business. It doesn't matter. Get a
Mhm.
contract between you and your team members. The first client you sign on, have a contract between you and your client. It does two things. One, it clearly specifies what each party's rights and responsibilities are. When is someone getting paid? That's a big question. You have that question from your clients, and you know your team members will have that question for you. When is someone getting paid? What is the exact work that is going to be done? If you have at least these two very basic things down, it's going to avoid a lot of dispute, a lot of drama. So that's one. The second thing it does is it builds credibility, both from your team members and from your clients. They will treat you as a serious business owner who knows what they're doing from day one. And that's important. You don't want your clients to think you have no idea what you're doing because they might not come back.
Yeah.
So, because, perception is everything. So you want to give
Yeah.
them the impression that I'm a serious business owner. Here's a contract. We're going to do it the right way. So that would be tip number two. Tip number three, I would say, is prioritize what needs to be done in your business. Remember, as a business owner, your journey is going to look very different as it was when you were an employee. You will have a lot of expenses coming up, and that's just normal. You'll have a lot of expenses, a lot of rejections, a lot of things that don't work out. So you have to prioritize what is important to you and allocate your time, resources. And by resources, I mean both your energy and financial resources to fix
Mhm.
that. This is
Yeah.
something that I work with when I'm working with my clients, and they have a lot of legal needs, and they, will get overwhelmed. Oh my God, I have to set up a company. I have to launch this brand on this date because the investors are saying that I took the funding. Now I have to deliver. Oh my God, my team members need this. And they're overwhelmed. And as a CEO, you can't turn to anyone and say, oh my
Mhm.
God, what am I going to do? Because you are expected to have all of the answers. So prioritize what needs to be done. So the same when we're working on legal matters, what needs to be done first? Your company has to be set up first. Okay, how much money is required? What time? What information is required? You allocate to that. Don't think about the other things while you're doing it. Tell your team members, tell everyone else, we're going to get to it. Give me 1 week, 2 week to set up the company. Next, I'm going to address those concerns. So that helps a lot. Again, it shows that you're in control. So people can't just come up to you and ask for random things at random time because that will get you distracted. And two, it also helps you stay on track with your budget and with your cost. So those would be my
Beautiful.
3 tips.
I love the tips. I love all of the tips. I think the second one, because of course, you really know what you're talking about, my friend. I
Yeah.
love the second one because a lot of people, and even me included, okay, don't want to use contracts or say things about contracts or stuff like that. But you're right, and I'm big into credibility, and I think you're big into credibility because you
Yeah.
know about branding, and I know about branding
Mhm.
too. And you also learned from that from the PR time that you had, right? I'm
Yes,
sure.
I did.
I've been learning about PR, and I'm really like excited about PR when
Uh-huh.
because I've been able to understand it and the value of it because most people don't even understand it. They don't
Hmm.
understand that. And I have a mentor that he always says, if they trust you, Jose, they'll buy from you.
Yeah.
And yes, and it's it's key to gain credibility because if you don't have any credibility, especially you're a brand new business, you need to do something about
Hmm.
them knowing that you know what you're doing, like you were saying,
Yeah.
Nuzayra. Like if they don't feel like or you are like very like, not organized really or something, like things like that, they don't feel the trust, right? They don't feel like, oh, should I trust this guy?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
So
they
I
won't.
think
It's yeah, it's the same, like, for anyone, like, you would not want to give money to someone if you didn't think they were going to be able to do the job. And
Mhm.
what entitles someone to be able to do the job is, based on many different things. But one of the things is basically, does this person understand their own benefits? Like, do they understand, like, how to run a business? Do they understand what is at stake? Do they know how to protect themselves? And that also puts your clients at ease.
Yeah.
This is what I feel, that, it makes them feel comfortable. Like, oh, I have a contract. That means, like, this person is not just going to take my money and run away. We have a contract now.
Hmm. Yeah, no, and they take you seriously, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's a new way of seeing the whole contract thing that I never thought about. Of course, you're an expert, but listen, guys, credibility is very important. So if you want people to take you seriously, I think that's a great tip. Have a contract, even if some things we sometimes don't see the value, or we think they're too like it's too soon to have some of these things. But I'm telling you, that is a big tip. That it doesn't necessarily even have to cost you a lot of money. Like, come up
No.
with a contract and stuff, And I'm sure you can talk to Nuzayra and ask her questions later or something
Yeah.
about these things, and she can guide you better. But no, I love all the tips. The first one was also really good. I have this friend, Nuzayra, that he didn't quit his job until he was doing already 100K in his business a month.
Oh, awesome. Oh my
Yes.
God.
And he's a $40 million guy now. And he's also from my country, by the way. And he's,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, he sells like milk frothers, like those guys, those things that you put in the, and
Yeah.
kitchenware and stuff like that on Amazon. And he's got a website too and everything. But the guy, they do $40 million. So
That
if
is amazing.
he did that and he's so successful, I think it's a really good thing to do, because I always see a business like a baby. Like, it's like that. Like, we have animals, right? We have
Yeah.
we have pets home. But if
Our
you
fur
take,
babies.
yeah, those are our babies in the Cyrus in my case. But if you take the bottle
Yeah.
of the baby when he's too young, he's gonna
Mhm.
cry. He's not gonna like it. He's gonna, like, maybe get sick, or he's not gonna grow. The same
Yeah.
thing goes for a business. I always tell that to my customers. It's not gonna grow because you're taking the bottle from the baby. The baby's too young. You can't, But
Mhm.
if you help the baby grow and you treat the baby well and you give more
Yeah.
bottles to the baby's gonna grow, right? And it's gonna
Yeah.
take care of you at some point. You know.
Mhm.
And the last
Exactly.
thing is also something I always tell my customers, my friend, and which is, prioritize what you have to do with your money and your time and everything, and find out
Yeah.
what's best. Because business owners, and I include myself in it, and that's why I have a business coach to guide me and stuff, is because we go and we always seek for the next new
Mhm.
shiny object that we're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Because we think that the fact that we started our business, we can do anything we want, and you can, but anything you want doesn't translate to results and growth.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah,
gotta be very careful
exactly.
yes. So you gotta be very, very careful how you use your money, your energy, because you don't have infinite
Yeah.
energy and all those things. So, and that's where I see that the Essentialism book that
Yes.
my friend here recommended us, you guys have to read that book, because it's gonna help you with the time and energy part. I don't know if with the money part, but the money part is you just have to invest in things that are gonna get you some
Mhm.
type of return, especially if you're starting, or it's part of the strategic plan that you have set for a certain specific,
Yeah.
goal to do something, right? Like marketing or
Mhm.
something. If you're gonna do marketing, I always tell that to my customers, and you don't have a lot of money, you're a small business, you gotta have some credibility before you pay for those marketing dollars. Why?
Yeah.
Because if nobody likes you or trusts you when they go and see you, you have zero credibility. You're just gonna burn your money on marketing, literally.
Mhm. That's
Yes,
true.
yes. Oh no! Oh my God! I had a great time. I told you it was gonna be fun, my friend. I told you.
Yay!
Fun.
I had an amazing time.
Yes, thank you for being here with us, my friend. Don't leave yet because I don't know if you. I got other things to do too, but maybe
Sure, sure.
we can chat a little bit. But everyone, please say thank you to Nuzayra, and if you have any questions about what she does or anything, we're gonna leave her website in the description box if you're on YouTube as well. So please say thank you to her in the comments and check her out, follow her. She's got a lot of amazing content as well that she puts out all the time. So make sure to follow her. And if you need her services, go and do business with her because you already know her. We spent an hour and a half almost here. So you got to know her. If you spend all this time and there are people still here watching us, thank you guys for always like staying tuned, all the things. That's amazing, and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much, Nuzayra, for being with us. God bless you, my friend, and everyone that watched us. God bless you too, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. Woo! Awesome.